Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. Well, the Tigers and Red Sox have seen a lot of each other the last week and a half. Today, they'll see a lot more of each other. Day-night doubleheader is scheduled here at the ballpark, and Andy Oliver will pitch in Game 1, his 2011 Big League debut. Right now, it's a beautiful day for baseball as we welcome into Comerica Park. Game 3 in this 4-game series featuring the Tigers and the Boston Red Sox. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pem alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us for Game 1 of this doubleheader here this afternoon. And a big day for Andy Oliver, Rod, when you consider really good numbers in AAA this year. He'll get another opportunity here in 2011 to show what he can do.
Well, trust me, there's no lineups in AAA like this Boston Red Sox lineup. But Andy Oliver, he's not your typical left-hander. He's a power left-hander. He's got a fastball that can get to 95 miles an hour, and he can simply throw that ball by you up in the strike zone. But when he was in the big leagues last year, he struggled with command. He struggled with confidence. Therefore, he didn't stay here very long. But they tell me he's really worked hard on this pitch. That's the breaking ball. He'll throw it at a couple of different speeds. He's got a get-me-over breaking ball. He's got a little sharper one he'll throw at the bottom of the strike zone against the left-handers. And he'll need to slow down these Boston left-handers. They're all pretty good.
All right, now let's talk about the Tigers offensively. Ryan Rayburn will take over at second base with the trade of Scott Sizemore, and the hope is that he can get his bat going and provide some punch from that second base position.
You know, I was chopping it up with Ryan in the clubhouse before the game today, and he says he feels like by getting a chance to go out there, knowing he's going to be at second base every single day, the offensive numbers should perk up. He's been working very hard. He's had lots of extra batting practice. Let's hope some of that pays off.
All right, not going to be easy today. Clay Buchholz will go for the Boston Red Sox. Pitch really well against the Tigers the last time out, and his last 3 have been dynamite.
He made the All-Star team last year. He's one of the best right-handers in this league that no one really talks about, but he's got a fastball that gets up to 95. He also can move it around at the bottom of the strike zone at about 90, 91. He's got a breaking ball. He's got a slide piece. He has a real good changeup, and he's got tremendous mound presence. This cat was an All-Star last year, so he's legit. Tigers have got their work cut out for them this afternoon.
All right, lineups, the first pitch just moments away. In the meantime, now we go back to the Call Sam Studios. Here's Ryan Field. Brought to you by Comerica Bank. Strength and stability since 1849. By Chrysler. And by Arby's. Stop by today and try the Market Fresh grilled chicken and pecan salad sandwich. Back here at Comerica Park as we get you ready for baseball here this afternoon. The first of two between these two teams. Day-night doubleheader featuring the Red Sox and your Detroit Tigers. And, of course, being a Sunday, the kids take the field, get the autographs for their favorite players, and enjoying a good afternoon of Tigers baseball here today. And, by the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get yourself a free small order of curly fries. How about the starting lineup today? For the visiting Boston Red Sox in Game 1, it is presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Jacoby Ellsbury leads it off in center field, followed by Dustin Pedroia, and then Adrian Gonzalez at first base. Kevin Youkilis is the DH. Jed Lowry at short, Carl Crawford in left. And the bottom three for Terry Francona today features Sutton, Cameron, and Saul Tilamacchia. Scouting report on Andy Oliver today is presented by Ace Hardware.
Well, he had a handful of starts in the major leagues last year, and one of the reasons why he's up here this year to try to slow down some of these left-handed bats that the Boston Red Sox will run at you. He's not your average left-hander. He's not a touch-and-feel guy. He's got power stuff. Fastball will get to 95, and his breaking balls are much improved from a season ago. Let's take a look at Jim Leland's defensive alignment behind the youngster Oliver here today. It's Dirks, it's Jackson and Kelly in the outfield. Inge, Peralta, Rayburn is the new second baseman this year with Scott Sizemore being traded. You know the big fella. He's anchored over at first, and Victor Martinez is putting down the signals for the kid in the first game of the doubleheader. That's always presented by Beaumont Hospitals.
Andy Oliver and his starts this year with AAA Toledo, a 3.31 earned run average.
Well, the big number there, the walks, just 20 of those in 51 2/3 innings. That's still high for the minor leagues, but he needs to improve on that. And once he does, he can pitch up here, and not only pitch up here, he can win up here if he starts to fill that strike zone up with good quality pitches.
Well, let's see if he can start winning today as Jacoby Ellsbury leads it off here at Comerica Park. It'll be Ellsbury, Pedroia, and then Gonzalez facing the left-hander. Here we go. The first pitch of the ball game is low, 1-0. Jacoby Ellsbury has hit a couple of home runs in this series, and all of a sudden flashing some power now. He's hit 6 homers this year. Next pitch is a strike called. Up with the right hand goes Tim Timmons. 1 ball, 1 strike on Ellsbury. 75 degrees our game time temperature, and hopefully this is the start of a nice warm summer here in the Motor City. Ellsbury takes outside 2-1.
Jacoby having an outstanding year after missing the majority of the season last year with injuries. But he does not fare all that well against left-handers so far in 2011. Numbers much better against right-handed pitching.
That is low, so the count rolls in Ellsbury's favor now, 3-1. Well, Ellsbury is quickly becoming one of those players, as you look at his splits, that can do just about everything. He's an outstanding defender. We've seen that in this series. He can hit for average. He can now hit for power, apparently. And he drives this one to left center field. That ball is down. Base hit, maybe more. Jackson over to cut it off. Ellsbury streaking to second base with a double.
We showed you Ellsbury's numbers against a left-hander, but what Oliver did there, he got himself in a predictable fastball count. He threw Ellsbury a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. It's right down the middle, and Ellsbury didn't miss it. You can negate the left-handers, but you have to work ahead in the count. You can't let them get in predictable fastball counts.
So an early scoring opportunity here for the Red Sox, who have been a red-hot team. They come in at 29-22, and they put up a lot of offense already in this series. Dustin Pedroia takes ball 1.
Pedroia knows how to play the game, and with nobody out, a runner on second base, he'll simply be trying to give himself up for the good of the team, and he'll be trying to drive something into this direction, which would get Ellsbury over to third base safely.
Oliver ready with the 1-0. There goes the runner. Ellsbury, big jump, no throw.
Boy, oh boy. Oh boy. It's a good baseball team.
So along with the power and the average, stolen bases now 19 for Ellsbury.
Ellsbury didn't even need Pedroia to give himself up to get him over to third base. He said, I'll take care of it myself.
And now the ground ball would produce a run up the middle. 19 steals for Jacoby Ellsbury.
Only the 4th stolen base for Ellsbury while a left-hander has been on the mound.
And that one misses from Oliver. And now Andy digging a hole here. 3 balls, no strikes. Oliver is 23 years old, a native of Ohio. He stands 6'3", 210. Right now considered the number 2 overall prospect for the Tigers. Jacob Turner would be the top pitching prospect. And a strike call, 3-1. Pedroia with an RBI, 2 for 9 in the series. He's hit safely in 5 in a row. And the 3-1. And there's a walk. So Oliver gives up a double, a steal, and a base on balls to start this one.
I was talking to Alex Avila, who caught Oliver last year, and he also caught him in spring training. And I said, Alex, what's going to be the biggest difference between Andy this time around? And he says, I think he has more confidence. He said he told me as much in spring training that last year when he would warm up in the bullpen, he had good stuff there. But once he got to the mound, in the big crowds, of course, the game started to speed up, and he started to speed up his delivery, and therefore the fastballs were flat, the breaking balls weren't very good. But Avila feels like Oliver learned something by the little bit of experience that he got last year.
Yeah, and I guess just by common sense alone, you would figure that that experience would serve him well, maybe calm him down a little bit, ease the nerves. But as you mentioned just moments ago, this is not the normal lineup he's seen in AAA.
This by far is the best lineup that Oliver has ever seen.
Here is Adrian Gonzalez, and he looks at ball 1, so the control a bit of an issue here for Andy in the early going.
And this guy standing in the batter's box, and you can look up the numbers, and he is one of the best left-handers in the game of baseball today. Adrian Gonzalez.
He has an 8-game hitting streak going. Here's the 1-0. There's a strike right at the knees. 1-1 on Gonzalez.
Here's where, if you're Oliver and you're Victor Martinez, you really just have to kind of think about making that one really good pitch at the bottom of the strike zone. You'll give up the 1 run, but try to get 2 here. Gonzalez, he's a double play candidate.
And that sliced foul back out of play, 1-2. Well, it has been very little transition needed for Gonzalez, if any at all. Coming to the American League from the San Diego Padres, this guy is already tearing up American League pitching. He comes in at .338 with 44 RBIs already. So there has been no adjustment period for Adrian. Put up big numbers with the Padres. And the 1-2. Fouled it off, went after a pitch right at his letters. Well, since 08, check out these numbers for first baseman. 290, 100 homers, 300 RBIs. There's your list.
Oh, my goodness.
Pretty good names right there. Pujols and Cabrera, along with Adrian Gonzalez. Runner goes. The 1-2 is outside. No throw from Martinez. A stolen base standing up for Pedroia.
Well, apparently, Terry Francona, because he managed him last year, Victor Martinez, he feels like he can exploit the one weakness that Martinez has, and that's not having the ability to really throw all that firmly to the bases when base runners are stealing. But Oliver has to at least give him a little time.
So now a hit here could score a couple. Number 11 in the stolen base column for Pedroia. So he and Ellsbury, a pretty good combination at the top of their lineup. 2-2 on Adrian Gonzalez. Fans have barely settled into their seats, and the Red Sox have a scoring chance. the 2-2. Driven in the air to center. Here comes Jackson lining it up. Ellsbury tagging. He's coming home. The throw is off target. A sac fly and an RBI for Adrian Gonzalez.
There's only a couple of guys in baseball that would be willing and want to try to challenge the center fielder on a fly ball so shallow, and obviously Ellsbury is one of those guys.
Meanwhile, we'll get an early visit now. Rick Knapp coming out of the Tigers dugout, the pitching coach. A run in for Boston on the sac fly. Kevin Youkilis due up. We showed you Oliver's numbers down at Toledo, and again the walks were a little bit of an issue. He has a walk in this inning already. But Andy overall was very good. He pitched his college ball at Oklahoma State, coming from a big-time college program. And the Tigers are hopeful that the future rotation will include this young man. So Rick Knapp has had his say. The Twins originally selected Andy Oliver in the 2006 draft, but he did not sign. He went to Oklahoma State. And then eventually selected in the second round by the Tigers in 2009. So 1 on 1 out. Here comes Youkilis. And he looks at strike one on the outer edge. You know, Rob, we talked about in previous broadcasts how Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz were the key combo in the middle of the Boston lineup. They feel now that perhaps for the next few years the combination of Gonzalez and Youkilis can be very potent as well, as Youkilis really starts to become a better big league hitter year after year.
They'll be good. There's no doubt about that, but they will not come close to the numbers that Manny and Ortiz were able to put up together. That tandem, one of the best in the history of the game.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can think of a tandem that was any better, especially for that ballpark, Ortiz and Manny Ramirez. But Gonzalez and Youkilis, a pretty good tandem themselves.
Really good pitch there. And also some pretty good separation. His fastball's gotten up to 96 today. This changeup here is at 86 miles an hour. So you get the 10-mile-per-hour differential, which is exactly what you need. And when you get that, you'll even get a good hitter like Youkilis swinging like we just witnessed him swinging.
Oliver is ahead of the count, 0-2. And he takes high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Youkilis, a couple of RBIs in the series. He's always been a guy that works counts, draws his walks. He's been on base in 14 straight games now for Boston. Opportunity to drive in a run early in this one. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It may not be a bad idea. It's risky, but at the same time, if you've got 95 in your back pocket and you can spot it inside at the knees against Youkilis, that might be the best pitch for you to throw here and to get yourself out of this little bit of a jam you've created in the first inning. If you throw a breaking ball, you might hang that, he might hit it. I throw my best pitch. That would be the fastball. Here they go.
Way inside, and it hit him. So Youkilis, who is the all-time leader in hit by pitches, is hit again. For Boston, that is. And that one caught him apparently on the back leg. So that's going to put 2 aboard now. Still only 1 out and a run in for the Red Sox. That's a tough one to swallow there. He got ahead of the hitter 0-2.
He was trying to go inside too, but just wasn't all that confident in going in there, and that's why the pitch was way off the plate inside, and it hit Youkilis.
Here's Jed Lowry with 2 men on. Runners go, and no throw. It got away from Victor Martinez, and both runners advance.
That is 4 stolen bases now here in the first inning.
Yikes.
Are you kidding me?
Pedroia has just picked up his second and give Youkilis 1 in the back end.
You could kind of see that Pedroia on second base had been sort of inching his way off to steal the base, and Victor kind of rushed there. Didn't handle the ball cleanly because he knew he had to rush. to get the out. And these are Victor's numbers from a season ago with the Boston Red Sox.
So the Red Sox applying some pressure to the rookie Andy Oliver. And the 1-0 to Lowry. 2 balls, no strikes. Red Sox as a team now have 42 stolen bases. There's the strike on the outer edge, 2-1. Oliver has retired 1 batter in this game and already has thrown 24 pitches.
And as you could imagine, majority of those pitches, 14 to be exact, have missed the strike zone.
Way inside. And Lowry had to move his feet. 3 balls and 1 strike. So the first inning scuffles continue here for Andy Oliver. A double, a walk, a sac fly, and a hit batter, and squeezed in between all of that, 4 stolen bases.
And it's not going to get any easier with Carl Crawford in the on-deck circle. He's one of the hottest hitters in the American League.
Three and 1. Jed Lowry batting .301. And he pops it up right side of the infield. This will come in handy. Cabrera. And the runners have to hold, although Pedroia bluffs down the line of third. That Pedroia doesn't take a play off, does he?
He doesn't, man. He really doesn't. He leaves it all between the lines every single day. He's a manager's dream, and you love him as a teammate.
Forcing the throw there from Cabrera. And just maybe, who knows, he may have overthrown it.
That's right.
You steal a run. So 2 gone, and a chance now for Oliver to get out of this mess by getting Carl Crawford.
I can't really think of a more balanced lineup in all of baseball with the speed they have at their disposal in Crawford, Ellsbury. And then the power in the middle of their batting order. And they've got some nice table setters, some guys that really aren't afraid to take a walk.
Well, the scary thing is that this guy's starting to come on now. In his last 3 games, he's 9 for 12.
Those numbers right there probably got him Player of the Week last week.
He's jumped up his average 33 points. 1 and 1. Well, you can't think of a more balanced lineup, probably because I don't think there is one. The 2 guys at the top, the run producers in the middle. It's a deep lineup all the way down to the end. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Crawford goes fishing 1 and 2.
And we're talking about a Boston Red Sox team that started the season 0-6. And Terry Francona, their manager, said when they went back to Boston to open up for the season, and he wasn't afraid of getting booed. He said he was afraid of getting shot by the Boston Red Sox fans. That's how bad they were playing.
And the 1-2. Fly ball. Shallow left. The shortstop Peralta goes back to get it. Andy Oliver pitches out of a mess. It took 29 pitches, but he got it done. Only 1 run in. Who gets a little pat on the back from his manager, Jim Leland, who probably was saying, all right, you got that first inning out of the way. Let's settle in now.
Yeah, Jim is a tremendous motivator. We all know that.
All right, here is the Tigers starting lineup today, presented by Big Boy. It'll be Jackson, Dirks, and Bosch. Your top three. Bosch, the DH today. Then Cabrera at first. Victor catching. Johnny Peralta, the shortstop. Your bottom three features Don Kelly, Ryan Rayburn, and Brandon Inn. The Bernstein advantage brings you the scouting report on Clay Buchholz. Get the Bernstein advantage. We go to bat for you.
Well, they got Beckett as their #1 starter. They've got Lester as their #2 starter, depending on which guy you want to choose. And then they got Buchholz, who is a very nice #3 and has some lethal stuff. He can really do it all with a fastball that'll get to 95. He's got curve, slider, change, and pitches with a tremendous amount of confidence. Let's take a look at the defensive alignment by Terry Francona. It's presented by Tim Hortons. It's Crawford, Ellsbury, Cameron in the outfield. Sutton, Lowry, Pedroia, Gonzalez in the infield. Salta Lamacchia is the catcher in the first game of the day-night doubleheader here at Comerica Park. Full day of baseball down here today.
How about that outfield? You think they can cover some ground today?
3 center fielders, really.
Here is Buchholz ready to go. Jackson steps in, and Austin looks at strike one. It'll be Jackson, Dirks, and Bosch facing the talented right-hander Clay Buchholz out of Nederland, Texas. He goes 6'3", 190. 7 scoreless against the Tigers the last time he faced them back at Fenway last week. Missed it high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Boston has 2 of the hottest right-handed pitchers in the game right now, in Josh Beckett and this guy Buchholz. There's not too many right-handers pitching better baseball than these 2 guys right now.
Awfully good. We got an eye full of that back at Fenway the last time these 2 teams met. Make it 1-2 now on Jackson.
About 2 weeks ago it was Verlander and Scherzer. There's 2 of the hottest pitchers in all of baseball.
Jackson batting .228, couple of hits in the series. Buchholz ready with a 1-2. Lifted to center field. Ellsbury coming on hard, and he'll make the play. We have seen his speed in this series, and he does it again.
The more I watch him, the more I like him. He plays shallow enough to where he could take away these little group singles, but yet when the ball is hit over his head, he's got another gear to get back and make those plays and take away doubles and triples. He's a really nice asset for the Boston Red Sox.
Here's Andy Dirks with 1 out. Andy is 1 for 7 on the homestand.
Dirks batting second here for Jim Leland here today. His skill set plays very nicely for this position of the batting order. He can handle the bat. If Jackson gets on, he could pull the ball to the right side of the infield, get Jackson to third. He can sacrifice bunt. He could do a lot of different things.
Dirks rolled up some big numbers this year at AAA. He had a really nice spring in which he opened up a lot of eyes, and all of a sudden he's parlayed that into his first major league opportunity. And he has made a couple of really, really nice diving catches in the outfield. We knew he could swing it, but he can also play some defense.
Here's exactly what you're talking about. A couple of sprawling catches.
Almost identical. And the 1-2. Right back up the middle into center field. Dirks has a 1-out single. Well, he's hitting .328 at Toledo this year. Showing some power. That time he sliced one right by the shortstop Lowry. Here comes Brendan Bosch, the DH. Bosch 0 for 3 in the series, batting .261. Quick throw in the runner back. Tigers gave up a run at the top of the first. They have the tying run on here in the bottom. Bosch pops this one in the air to shallow center. Ellsbury coming on. He's under. 2 gone. Dirks will hold at first base. A quick out for Buchholz. Now the cleanup man, Miguel Cabrera. He's knocked in a run in this series, has a couple of hits. Cabby now has rolled up a 9-game hitting streak.
Don't know how Buchholz will try to attack Cabrera here this afternoon, but the way that they attacked him in Boston is they really aggressively pitched him inside with really good firm fastballs when they wanted to get him out.
Time called, and Buchholz stopped his delivery.
Tim Timmons is the home plate umpire, and he decided to give Cabrera timeout. And Buchholz making him wait way too long. You can see the right hand of Timmons go up.
Low and away, 1-0.
That's not how they want to get him out. They want to get him out inside. They'll show him down and away. Very seldom does he chase that. Ultimately, they want to get him out with fastballs inside.
Dirks down at AAA. Aside from the big power numbers he put up, drove in a lot of runs and hit for average, he also stole 10 bases.
And there was a time this year where you wouldn't run. And with Cabrera in that batter's box, with the way Victor Martinez has been swinging the stick, no problem if Dirks decides to steal a bag.
Grounded foul, third base side.
92-mile-per-hour sinker down and in by Buchholz. Real good pitch. Cabrera knows they're coming in there, and he still tries to get to it. Pulling those hands in, trying really to hit that ball up the middle. He's not trying to pull that ball, but when that ball is in that location, sometimes it's a hit or nothing you can do.
1 ball and 1 strike. Driven to right field. Cameron got a late jump, but he gets there easily to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. To the second we go. Here this afternoon, time for the Farmers Insurance Report Card. There have been a ton of rainouts in Major League Baseball this year. 21 total last year, 32 already this season, which is the most since 2004. By the way, tickets are still available for tonight's game. 866-66-TIGER. And there will be a fireworks show following game 2 of the doubleheader tonight. So make your plans to be down here. You've got Verlander, you've got Beckett. Why not head down to the ballpark?
I might go grab me some groceries and come right on back.
Might be a very good idea. Oliver back to the hill and a strike call.
Well, the good thing about having a doubleheader here today, if you're both of these managers, both of your bullpens are in pretty good shape. Tigers have had 4 games rained out in the last 2 weeks.
Drew Sutton leading it off.
If you should need some bullpen help today.
By the way, the reason for no TV tonight, ESPN has the exclusivity on that window this evening, so we are not able to televise tonight's game. Otherwise, believe me, we would bring it to you. 2 balls and 1 strike on Drew Sutton. He'll be followed by Mike Cameron and Jared Saltalamacchia. Oliver's 2-1 pitch. Low 3-1.
Andy, too many 3-ball counts, working behind the hitters way too much. You can't do that against Boston. There's some teams you can get away with the stuff that he has if you're not sharp with your fastball and your command, but not Boston.
High fly ball left field, hit pretty well. Dirk's going back, edge of the warning track to haul this one in. Sutton is out. 1 gone. Now Mike Cameron. Cameron batting just 170 this year. A couple of home runs.
One of the best guys in baseball, Mike Cameron. He has had a lot of success in a big league uniform. I mean, a lot of success.
Played with a lot of different teams.
He's won Gold Gloves, made All-Star teams. And there was a time when he was the best center fielder in the game. No doubt about it. But it's tough when you go from being an everyday player to being a role player now that he finds himself in.
There's a strike called. You know, it's one thing to be a player coming up in the minor leagues and you're identified as a guy that's probably going to be a utility guy or a role player. But the other half of that is you're that veteran guy that has played every day, and you have to make that crossover to realizing that at this point in your career, you are not an everyday player.
And he's playing a position that he's not all that familiar with. He's playing right field these days. You know, a lot of people have been talking about that Buster Posey collision just a couple of days ago, which broke his leg and landed him on the disabled list. But a few years ago, this guy had a violent collision in the outfield as well. It was an 05. He's in right field at this time, too.
Oh.
Carlos Beltran was the center fielder, and that was violent.
He drives one deep here, left field, way back, and that ball is gone. Cameron has just hit his 3rd home run of the season.
That's violent, too.
It's a 1-out solo shot. It's his 7th RBI as well.
Well, you know they're going good when your number 8 hitter, who is batting 170, although he is better than that. He gets himself in a 2-2 count, and it's a breaking ball that doesn't do a whole lot. It stays up. It's away. Cameron reaches out and lifts it and gets enough to hit it into that Tigers bullpen.
So the Red Sox have added one more. 2-0 ball game now for Jared Saltalamacchia. And he looks at strike 1. A little bit of power at the bottom of the lineup here this afternoon for the Red Sox. Boston home run number 56 on the season. That's skied into shallow right center. Kelly and Jackson. 2 outs. Most of the outs here this afternoon for Oliver coming in the air.
A couple of things that I've noticed already in the first couple of innings that Oliver needs to do if he's going to have success. One, obviously, strike 1 is a prerequisite. He's had to get ahead of the Boston hitters. And 2, he can't be afraid to pitch aggressively inside with his fastball. He can't allow these guys to be as comfortable as they have been the entire month of May.
Do you think there's any psychological effect or anything in the back of your mind when you come up and you face an offense like Boston as opposed to maybe some others, and how you may have a game plan, but sometimes things change a little bit?
Oh, no doubt about that.
I mean, you see the names in this lineup, and it has to have a little bit of an effect, you would think.
Well, when you go up against most big league teams, I mean, there's a few outs in the lineup. I mean, there's some guys that just really aren't performing all that well. Then you can kind of stay away from some of the more potent bats. But Boston, they've got such length with their 1 through 6, at times 1 through 7. There's very few easy outs. And then you get down to that number 8 spot like Cameron, and you exhale a little bit, and then he takes you deep.
One ball, one strike on Jacoby Ellsbury, who doubled to start the game, stole a base and scored a run. 1-2. Jacoby, since coming back into the leadoff slot, has really taken off. There was a spell where Pedroia was hitting the leadoff a little bit. But Ellsbury, 345 since being reinserted into that leadoff slot, and he's hobbled a bit after that last foul ball. One and two on the Boston leadoff man. And it's fouled back out of play. Again, game 2 coming up tonight. Tickets still available for the nightcap in this doubleheader. Verlander and Beckett here at the ballpark. And you'll be able to check out the fireworks show post-game as well. Post-game, game 2. 1-2 on Jacoby Ellsbury. And he got him, strike 3 on the outer edge. Ellsbury didn't like it. So a strikeout, number 1 for Andy Oliver. Another run in for Boston. You look at the numbers from 2000 to 2009 compared to last year. The numbers were way down for pitching. And how about 2011? Maybe this is actually the year of the pitcher.
Well, they're getting it done once again. And there's lots of really good pitching across baseball, not only in the starting rotations, but the back end of bullpens. Every single guy appears to be throwing 95 miles an hour and above. And the hitters, they really just haven't caught up yet. I wonder if the cold weather has anything to do with it in the first couple of months of the year.
Well, it could be. I mean, they talk about that every single season. And it's just now starting to heat up, we hope. 75 was our game time temp today. Victor Martinez leads it off. Tigers down by a 2 spot now.
Yeah, Victor caught Buchholz last year when he was wearing a Boston Red Sox uniform. I don't know if that gives him any advantage at all, but the fact that he knows what Buchholz might do from time to time may aid him in getting the pitch that he desires.
Victor batting .295. He's had a really good month of May. Martinez .333 this month. Avila getting the day off today, at least in game 1.
Well, Victor, one of the reasons why some of the opposing managers are not walking Cabrera intentionally with the same kind of frequency as they were last year and at the beginning of this year when he was on the disabled list.
Lifted in the air to center. Boy, Ellsbury's been busy already in this one. 1 gone.
Hey fans, with the weather warming up, you can have your picnic or a party at an upcoming Tigers game. Group tickets and party suites are on sale now, with groups of 15 or more receiving discount tickets to select games. Call 313-471-BALL or visit tigers.com for the picnic and party suites.
1 out. Here's Johnny Peralta. Buchholz gave up a single to Andy Dirks in the first inning, but no damage done after that. Peralta batting .306 now. And Johnny has hit 8 home runs. It's a pretty good series, including a homer. In fact, Peralta now has equaled the amount of home runs that he hit last year in a Tigers uniform when he joined the team at the trading deadline. One ball, 1 strike. Peralta hit 7 homers with Cleveland, 8 with Detroit after joining the team from the Cleveland Indians. The 1-1 rolled foul. Buchholz threw just 12 pitches in that first inning. Clay was the co-pitcher of the year last year for Boston, along with John Lester. He won 17 games last year and lost only 7, had an ERA a shade over 2.
As you can imagine, with those numbers, made his first All-Star team.
Pulled on the ground to short. Routine play there for Lowry. And Johnny is out. 2 gone. These numbers for Buchholz last year placed him 6th in the voting for the American League Cy Young Award.
2.33 earned run average. The only one that had a lower earned run average was King Felix out in the Pacific Northwest, and Felix, he was the Cy Young Award winner.
Don Kelly the batter. How about Seattle?
How about Seattle?
They're a half game back in the West.
They did not look that good when we were out there earlier this year.
Not at all.
Eric Wedge has got them playing some really good baseball.
Here's the 1-0 to Kelly. That's sliced foul.
They've got a couple of beasts at the top of that rotation. I just mentioned one in Felix Hernandez, but that kid, Michael Pineda, his stuff is off the chain.
Yeah, top to bottom, they're separated by a game and a half in that division. Many thought Texas, with the start they got off to, was going to run away.
Oakland's pitching is keeping them in the race, too.
Kelly takes a strike called on the inside part of the plate, 1-2.
A lot of parity in baseball. There's probably about 17, 18 teams of the 30 that really have legitimate chances of playing some October baseball as we speak.
Would you say the biggest surprise in the early going in the American League is Cleveland?
By far. By far.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, what they've been able to do so far in the Central, they come in with a 6.5 game cushion on the Tigers. Still obviously very, very early, but they're playing some pretty good ball.
Because really, who's the stars on that team?
Well, I mean, they've got a couple of names in Sizemore and Hafner. But the pitching staff, I mean, you know, Masterson has come on. Tomlin has pitched well for the most part.
Maniacta has them playing well as a team. I went to dinner last night with a good buddy of mine, Bruce, and his lovely wife, Julie Fields. And, of course, Bruce works for the Cleveland Indians, and that's the one thing he told me about them that he noticed in spring training is how well they gel together. Maniacta has them playing collectively, all 25. And they're all pulling in the same direction. And that's how you can sneak up on some people, as they've done.
1-2 is rolled just outside of the bag. How's Bruce doing?
Bruce is doing outstanding.
Former Tiger hitting coach. His son Daniel is in the minor leagues. I think is he at Lakeland this year?
He's in Lakeland. His other son Aaron too is playing some minor league baseball in the Cleveland Indians organization. So Bruce and Julie have done some wonderful work with their two boys.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Don Kelly here. 2 outs, nobody on. We're in the second, and the Red Sox lead 2-0. Here's the 1-2. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Kelly. Don in the month of May is over 300, 321. His bat has perked up. Average up to 264 overall. Jim Leland not afraid to put him anywhere on the field. He's got him out in right field today. He has made some starts at third for Brandon Inge. And that one will stay fair right down the line at first, right at Gonzalez. It'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Clay Buchholz. You're watching Tigers baseball today on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire.
Sox has assembled a really good lineup against right-handed pitching. They've got some outstanding professional hitters. It starts with Ellsbury. You've got Crawford. You've got Salas. And you've got lots of guys that have done a lot of damage this year against Tigers pitching, and particularly guys that throw right-handed for the Tigers. This team is very, very difficult to beat. But however, left-handers, the Tigers left-handers have been able to slow them down quite a bit.
Well, it's 2-0 today. The Red Sox got a run in the first. They got a run in the second. As you see the numbers, 158 against left-handed pitching for the Tigers this year. Andy Oliver back to work facing Dustin Pedroia. Adrian Gonzalez and Kevin Euclid.
It's a drastic difference there. 158 to 364, which they're hitting against right-handers with 22 RBIs, only 1 RBI against a left-handed pitcher.
And a lot of that was that outstanding start that Phil Koch had in Boston, and that
Furbush.
And Furbush too, yeah.
And Wilk have both done well as well, left-handers.
But Koch did it at Fenway Park.
He did.
Some nasty weather. It was pretty good. That's belted in the air to left. Hit well. Dirks goes back, and that ball is gone. Justin Pedroia with a line drive home run, second of the day for the Red Sox. The little guy nails one out of here to make it 3-0.
They have come in here flexing their muscles, and it's the second time he's given up a home run on a breaking ball. Cameron's breaking ball was hit out of the ballpark at 87 miles an hour. That's a changeup that stays up outside. You can see the grip. It's a changeup grip, but he doesn't pull it down. You've got to get it down. It stays up for Pedroia, and he drills it.
Oliver comes back at 94 miles an hour up out of the strike zone to Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez a sac fly back in the first. 3-0 Boston. One ball, one strike. .45 RBIs for Adrian Gonzalez. One and two.
They have not done much damage against Oliver. And when he has thrown the fastball today, anywhere from 93 to 96. However, a couple of the breaking balls have stayed up, and they have punished him for missing with his location on those pitches.
Red Sox have 3 hits today, all for extra bases, 2 homers and a double. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fly ball center field right at Austin Jackson. First out of the inning.
Take a look at the location of this last pitch. One, he's able to get ahead of Gonzalez. It counts 1-2, and they buried the fastball inside, and he doesn't get to it. Actually, it's a breaking ball inside that locks him up, and he doesn't quite get to it. But the location is what I'm talking about.
So here's Kevin Euclid. Strike one to Euclid. Kevin hit by a pitch back in the first inning. The all-time leader in Red Sox history in that category. He passed up Mo Vaughn earlier this year. Remember Big Mo?
I sure do.
Well, he could mash at Fenway.
I sure do. Mo Vaughn's doing really well for himself. He bought a lot of property in the New York area. And
is that right? Some
apartments and helping some lower income families. I read a piece on him, and he's doing very nice work in New York.
Maurice. Although only his selected friends could call him Maurice.
Is that right?
Yes.
So I'm sure you were able to call him Maurice.
Well, it took a while. He joined the Angels when I were there, but it took a while for me to get to the point where I called him Maurice. Very rarely did I, however. Gentle giant, Mo Vaughn. He drove in a lot of runs in a Boston uniform. Ooh, he just missed. 2-2 on Kevin Euclid. Where was he? A little outside, maybe? Swing and a miss. Didn't matter. Struck him out.
Great pitch.
2 strikeouts for Oliver. Let's go back to the studio now. Time for a game break as we check in with Ryan Field. I appreciate it, Ryan. You know, I read that today as well. It's kind of amazing, those numbers associated with a talent like that.
You're right. Danks has got plus stuff. Fastball, 90 to 92, changeup, curve. He's got the entire arsenal. And we've watched him pitch well, so apparently they're not scoring a whole lot of runs for him, and he's not making the quality pitches he's made in the past.
Meanwhile, the Chicago White Sox, after playing a little bit better, they lost in extras to Toronto yesterday. Now they're getting pounded today. We'll be in Chicago for the first time next weekend.
Oh, it's always nice to have a weekend in Chi-Town.
Isn't it, though? The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Might want to make some room on the credit card before you go to Chicago.
Yeah.
Pay off that debt a little bit.
Yeah, it's always a good thing.
Stretch it out once you get to Chicago. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike on Jed Lowry. Lowry's been on a tear in the month of May against left-handed pitching. Although Oliver got him earlier today, he's been over 500 this month against lefties. And the 2-1. 3 balls and 1 strike. The Red Sox have a big-time prospect in their minor league system, Jose Iglesias, who is a shortstop. Who was on the horizon, but Lowry having a nice year this year. The 3-1 is lined to left center field. That'll get down, base hit. Lowry taking the turn, going for 2. Here comes the throw. It is not in time. He slides in ahead of the tag.
There's that count again. 3 balls, 1 strike. Lowry knows he's going to get a fastball. He knows it's going to be straight, and he knows it's going to be at 93 miles an hour. And he doesn't miss it. And then once he gets out of this batter's box, he's thinking 2 all the way, and he's able to get there safely and with a slide.
He has no chance at a double if he's not busting it out of the box.
None.
And he just beat the tag of Rayburn.
Because Dirks did a nice job getting over to that ball to cut it off, and he's got a good arm and an accurate arm.
Here's Carl Crawford. He fouls one back, 0-1. And he slipped a little bit as he got to that ball in left center field.
Just a hair.
So it's another extra base hit for the Boston Red Sox. They lead 3-0.
How in the world do you start the season, partner, 2-10, and then you end up in first place today on May 29th with the teams that they have in their division?
Don't know. Well, I guess we do know. They're pretty good. And you would expect that it was going to kick in at some point.
Nice pitch. I like it. Make them move their feet.
1 ball, 1 strike on Crawford, who is, as we have mentioned many times, a whale of a high school football player. In fact, Frank Solich had a Heisman winner, Eric Crouch, back in the early 2000s, and he was going to replace him as he graduated with this guy right here, Carl Crawford. He's a tremendous high school quarterback out of Houston. Popped him up. Foul ground, and this one will be back into the seats.
First row.
The reason Crawford did not end up going to Nebraska to play quarterback was the Tampa Bay Rays knocked on his door and said, here's 1.2.
Yep. That's enough to buy you out of a full ride scholarship.
But he was an unbelievable high school football player, basketball player, baseball player, obviously.
That's probably back in the days when Nebraska was still running that option.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And Oliver ready with the 1-2 pitch. And he got him. Strike 3. Crawford is punched out of there. So Oliver has his 3rd strikeout. Another run for Boston, though. The home run by Pedroia. And we will go to the bottom of the 3rd. is brought to you by AT&T and by Cottonelle. Back here at Comerica Park, game one of this day-night doubleheader here at the ballpark. Boston on top 3-0. Later on tonight, tickets still available for game two in this doubleheader. Verlander and Beckett. If you have a chance, come on down to the ballpark. Post-game fireworks show as well this evening. Tiger Bats trying to get going here against Buchholz. Ryan Rayburn leads it off, then Brandon Inge and Austin Jackson. 0 for 3 in the series for Ryan, who is taking over now as the everyday second baseman for Jim Leyland. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And as Jim Leyland told Ryan Rayburn, today is your opening day. Let's just put the past behind you. You're starting a new position. You're playing every day. Trying to get his bat going.
Well, Jim has a tremendous amount of confidence in Ryan Rayburn, and he has shown that in the last few years. He has really stuck with him when things have not gone well for Ryan. And if you're Rayburn, you can't ask for anything other than that from your skipper.
The 0-2. Fouled back out of play. Ryan was telling me today in terms of his struggles offensively, and it's something you've talked at length about, the fact that he's just getting underneath pitches and everything he's popping up, and he has hit some balls to the warning track. He said, but I'm not a big guy like Cabrera who has his brute strength that I can miss a pitch and still hit it out.
Indecisiveness. He's not quite comfortable yet. Therefore, he waits too long before he pulls the trigger, and therefore swinging underneath it or just not catching it right.
Wave and a miss. He struck him out. It's the first strikeout for Clay Buchholz. He's going to bring up Brandon Inge. Inge 1 for 7 in the series. Buchholz, you might remember, threw a no-hitter back in 2007 in just his second major league start. And it was a situation where Terry Francona was looking at a possibility of making a tough decision. Buchholz, still a very young arm at the time, just got called up to the big leagues. As Brandon takes a strike, and Theo Epstein had called down in the 7th inning, and then in the 8th inning he said, look, his pitch count is getting up there. He absolutely cannot throw more than 120 pitches in this game, regardless of whether or not he has a no-hitter. And so Francona's thinking, great, if he reaches 120, I got to pull him.
Yeah, he's taking a steal. You don't have to go out there. I do.
I'm the one in the dugout. As it turned out, he needed 115 pitches to complete that no-hitter. And so Francona was left off the hook, but boy, those are awfully tough decisions to make for managers.
And Terry, when he took over as manager in 2004, boy, did he inherit a really good situation for himself and his coaching staff. Nothing better than having management step up and do that for you.
Here it was in September of 07. Against the Baltimore Orioles, just his second big league start, Clay Buchholz, a no-hitter. And that was pitch number 115 right there, and his manager exhaling.
Now no problem for Buchholz to throw 115.
Swing and a miss.
That's kind of what separates him from me, is that breaking ball. He's fearless with it. He struck Rayburn out with it. He'll spot his fastball, and then he'll get to this pitch. And it's nasty. Change piece.
So Buchholz has his first 2 strikeouts of this game. That'll bring up Austin Jackson. Austin flied out back in the first. Speaking of managers that have had to make tough decisions, remember Preston Gomez? He used to manage San Diego and Houston.
Yes.
He twice pulled a pitcher for a pinch hitter with a no-hitter going into the 9th.
Trying to get that win.
He got to get the win, exactly, and that was the bottom line. He took a lot of heat for that.
He was trying to protect his job.
Because in the end, your managers are...
you got to win.
You got to win. I mean, that's how they're judged. One and one on Jackson. Preston was an advisor for the Angels for so many years before he passed away last year, and I remember talking to him quite a bit about those two decisions, and he said, I knew I was going to get hammered at the end of the game. I knew the media was going to just be waiting for me, but I had to make my decision. And in both instances, his team was behind, so he lifted his starter for a pinch hitter, and in both instances they lost. But that's the way it goes. The 2-1 is swung on and missed. 2-2 on Austin Jackson.
As Jim Leland likes to say, I don't manage with the fans, I manage for the fans.
Exactly.
And Jim had to make a very difficult decision just a week ago, taking Porcello out of a game. Shutout with Valverde in the bullpen. It all worked out, but he knew he was going to take some heat.
And that he did. And it was pretty intense heat. But again, the bottom line was the Tigers won that game.
Yeah, somehow that kind of got lost, though.
It did.
And it shouldn't have.
3-2.
Here's where Buchholz, with a 3-run lead, more than likely he throws a fastball. But he has enough confidence to just about throw anything in this situation and throw it for a strike.
Pulled on the ground at third. Handcuffing Sutton, but he stays with it. Jackson is out. Tigers go 1-2-3 on our way to the fourth in game one of the doubleheader today. Last Tiger to hold the, or to lead the team in hits, runs, doubles, homers, RBIs, and walks. Last Tiger to lead the team in all of those categories, all in the same season, we're asking, and we'll even give you a hint. Would you like a hint, Rod?
Yes, please.
The hint would be this player was in the late 80s. And right now, Cabrera leading in all of these categories.
He will do it before his career is all said and done with the Tigers over the course of the entire season. I'm talking about Miguel.
Sutton is leading it off for the Boston Red Sox against Andy Oliver. It's a 3-0 game. The Bo Sox today have hit a couple of home runs. Solo shots for Pedroia and Cameron. One ball, one strike on Drew Sutton. Oliver has struck out 3 in this game. All of the hits that he's given up have been for extra bases. A couple of doubles, a couple of homers, and a wave and a miss.
Oliver's going to be a good big league pitcher. He has the stuff to be a really good big league pitcher for a long time. Fastball mid-90s. Needs to tighten up his breaking ball and change up a little bit. And once he does that, he'll be a really good performer. He reminds me of John Lester on the other side. I know Lester, much more established. He's won more games. He's pitched in the World Series. He's done all that. Yeah, but he kind of reminds me of Lester does Oliver.
Well, I guess it's a good start when you have a left-hander that throws mid-90s.
There's not many of those guys walking around in starting rotations.
Now the 1-2. Ground ball left side. Inge will cut it off. Sutton is out, one away. We'll bring up Mike Cameron.
Mike Cameron batting 170 coming into play today. Got a 2-2 breaking ball that really didn't do a whole lot his last time up, and he didn't miss it.
One of 2 home runs today for the Red Sox. Pedroia has the other. Strike one right at the knees on Cameron. Talking about all the teams that he has played for. There is a boatload of them. White Sox, Cincinnati, Seattle, Mets, to name a few. 1 ball, 1 strike. He has 3 Gold Glove awards to his credit. He's an all-star. That was back in 01.
If my memory serves me correctly, I believe when Ken Griffey Jr. was traded to the Cincinnati Reds, it was Cameron that replaced him in center field for the Seattle Mariners.
You might be right there.
That 2001 team that won about 116 games for Lou Piniella. It was Ichiro Suzuki's first year stateside.
Cameron that year knocked in 110 runs.
That was 2001?
That was 2001.
I got a good memory, boy.
Unbelievable.
For an old fella.
An old fella. You're not that old. Cameron has taken a walk. And so it's a 1-out base runner. Second walk now issued by Andy Oliver.
Cameron has a lot of stolen bases in his back pocket, too, in his career. He doesn't run as much as he used to, nor does he have that same speed that he used to have as a youngster. But he's a good base runner, and he can steal a base. And they've already stolen 4 today.
Since you bring it up, Cameron needs 4 stolen bases to reach 300 for his career.
It's a lot of bags.
The veritable boatload of steals. Saltalamacchia, the batter. Red Sox got 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. High fly ball, shallow left center field. Dirks is there. And Saltalamacchia is out. Holding at first base, Mike Cameron. It's going to bring up the top of the order now, Jacoby Ellsbury.
You have to be careful here, and you have to keep Cameron close. You can't allow him to get too big a jump if you're Andy Oliver. And with 2 outs, and Terry Francona, he doesn't really care if Cameron gets thrown out at second base because he has his leadoff hitter leading off the 5th.
Ellsbury has a double and a steal, plus a run scored in this game. Ball 1. Red Sox have a couple of guys in their lineup today that hail from the state of Oregon. Of course, Ellsbury is one of them. The other is Jed Lowry. Ellsbury played his college ball at Oregon State. (2-0).
I wonder who's giving the signs to Victor Martinez today. I was watching Jim last half inning, and he didn't do anything for Victor. So apparently they're playing some games down there today with the Boston Red Sox. You don't know who's giving the signs. It could be Gene. It could be Rick Knapp. It could be anybody down there today. That's the beauty of the game. I love that part of the game.
Could be Jim Schmeichel in the clubhouse.
It could be anybody down there. You dropped a Schmeichel on him.
And another toss to first.
You have to be creative in that way. I mean, sometimes it could be something simple as guys folding their arms, guys with one hand here, one hand there. And I'm not giving away Jim's secret. That's just what everybody does. And it's one of the beauties of the game. Now he gives a sign this time.
Here's the 2-0. There's a strike, 2-1.
It looks like Cameron felt like on that last pitch toward home plate, as he has a conversation with Ron Johnson, the first base coach, he felt like he had a good enough jump to run. So he's trying to go. Take a look at him. He felt like he had it right there.
Little high. Now the count goes to 3-1. Oliver struck out Ellsbury his last time up. You got Pedroia waiting on deck. And there's a walk. So Andy has walked another. That's his third in this game. Second one in this inning. He's also hit a batter. Danger time now. Pedroia stepping in. And Jim Leyland pacing. 2-out chance for Pedroia. 84 pitches already here in the fourth inning for Andy Oliver. Solo shot for Pedroia back in the third. There's a strike call. Rod, we've often talked about the size of Dustin Pedroia and how you don't have to be really big in this game to be successful. I was reading where Pedroia as a senior in high school was 5'2", 140 pounds. Think about that. And he went largely unnoticed by scouts because he was so small.
Yep. And it's something he said he had to battle all the way back to Little League.
So they really weren't interested in because of his size in high school, but he went to college where he started to take off.
Well, Pat Murphy was the head coach at Arizona State at that time, and obviously he saw something in Pedroia because he made him their starting shortstop, and I believe he moved Ian Kinsler.
He did.
Out of Arizona. Ian Kinsler transferred to another school because of Pedroia.
That's in the air toward left. Not deep at all. Dirks is there, and that is that. They threaten. They do not score. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Still 3-0. Bell Tire. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Back here at the ballpark on a warm, sunny day here at the ballpark, although it's clouding up just a little bit. It is 3-0 in favor of the Boston Red Sox. And here come the Tigers now against Clay Buchholz. It'll be Dirks, Bosch, and Cabrera facing the right-hander. Wave and a miss. Dirks had a single in the first, and right now that is the only Tigers hit so far against Buchholz.
And they really have not hit any balls hard today against Clay. When you have a mixture of the above average fastball and then the secondary pitches and the command to go with it, it could be a long afternoon for the opposing batters, and it has been that so far for Detroit.
Dirks, Bosch, and Cabrera represent the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in Detroit's lineup. 1-1 is hit in the air to right. Hit pretty good. Cameron going back to the wall, and you can kiss it goodbye. It's gone. Second big league homer for Andy Dirks, and the Tigers are on the board. He has the only 2 hits today for Detroit.
Let's take a look at the 1-1 pitch, the offering from Buchholz. It's a changeup. You can see it in his glove. That's a circle change. And he doesn't get it out in front, and he doesn't pull it down. And Dirks went out. And basically, with the top hand releasing at contact, still enough power to find the seats in right field.
There's strike 1 on Bosch.
One more look here. The Dirk man.
Hit his first home run against Jeremy Hellickson of the Rays, and now his second home run against Buchholz. So the Tigers get on the board, 3-1 ball game. Showing a little bit of life here as Bosch tries to keep it going. Brennan flied out back in the first inning. Fouled off.
There's Andy talking about how he had to reach out and still had enough bat. And that top hand coming off the bat as he was making contact.
So Dirks, who showed power in the minor leagues this year, already with 2 home runs at the major league level. Here's the 1-2 to Bosch. Inside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and 2. That'll get back out of play. 2-2. The count stays on Bosch. I was reading something on Bosch when he played Little League in Southern California. One of the coaches for one of the other teams was Kurt Russell, the actor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And apparently he said, you know, Kurt Russell played minor league baseball? I said, I had no idea. Russell got as high as Double-A in the Angels organization, apparently. The 2-2. It's pulled foul.
That's a nice little nugget there.
It is. And he said, yeah, played against his son, Kurt Russell's son. A lot of bigwigs in Southern California, you know. Movie stars.
Tinseltown.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. Third strikeout for Buchholz.
Hey, Tigers fans who are currently serving in the U.S. Armed Forces at home and abroad can receive a free DVD of this season's home opener telecast against the Kansas City Royals. It's a project titled Operation Opening Day, now in its third year. For details, visit tigers.com/Operation Opening Day for your free DVD.
And a good reminder for Memorial Day tomorrow. If you have friends or family serving in the military, well, why not provide them with a free copy of Opening Day? And say thank you very much for their service. It's our third year in this project, and happy to do it. Cabrera is batting now with one out. Tigers are on the board via the home run by Dirks. The 0-1.
I did a little piece today on Tigers Live talking about Cabrera and the fact that he was about 1 for 18 during a 5-game stretch, and he just noticed that his hands weren't coming through the strike zone efficiently. And so he opened up ever so slightly with that front foot. And because of that, that batting average has started to perk up again. Mario, there are some guys that will go weeks before they can kind of figure out what they're doing wrong.
Right.
It took him 4 days to figure out that he needed to open up a little bit with that front foot, which would allow him to get his hands in a position to where he could start to drive the ball to right field with authority again.
That'll go foul down the third base line.
Here's some of the looks at how he's able to get his hands inside and get that barrel over the heart of the plate to do some damage to right field. Tremendous power in that direction. He hits the ball to right field as hard as some left-handers do.
And the 2-2 pitch. Ooh, just off the plate. Buchholz swatted strike 3 there. His body language at the end of that one indicated that.
There's a spray chart on Cabrera. He goes up the middle. He goes the opposite way. And, of course, if you hang a breaking ball inside or a changeup, he'll take you to left field. And usually when he goes to left field, he's trotting.
That'll get back out of play.
You know, something else he told me that kind of shocked me because I never heard it explained this way. Most guys, when they start to struggle and they open up with the front foot, it's because they're struggling with inside fastballs. They're not able to turn on the ball. He told me he opened up so he can get himself in a better position with his lower half that would allow him to drive the ball to right field. Not left field, but right field.
The 3-2. He walked it. Well, aside from his physical skill, apparently he's got a pretty high aptitude for the game.
He's smart.
Well, the Tigers now will bring the tying run to the plate. That is the first walk for Buchholz. Here comes Victor Martinez.
Those two guys right there started their careers together. Gonzalez and Cabrera in the Florida Marlins organization. And rumor has it they were pretty good friends on that rookie ball team.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Must have been a whale of a rookie ball team.
There was another good guy on there, another pretty good performer on that team too, Alex Gonzalez.
Wow. There's ball 1. It's that photo we showed you the other night of Miguel Cabrera, Adrian Gonzalez. 2 of the 3 in that photo we can identify. We're not sure who the middle fella is. Way back in 2000. I'd like to say that Cabrera was baby-faced back then, but I think he still is.
He is.
Rolled foul.
They're making Buchholz work a little harder here in the 4th inning. Dirks has played long ball. Cabrera saw quite a few pitches before getting the walk.
Andy Oliver hoping his team can climb back into this one. They're down by 2 runs now. 3-1. And the 1-1. Backed him out of there. 2 balls and 1 strike. Buchholz had just 43 pitches after 3 innings coming into this frame, but again, they are making him work.
And Buchholz a pretty smart pitcher. And we told you that Victor Martinez kind of knows him because he caught him last year. And in certain situations like this, he would simply go with a soft changeup away and a good fastball count to a dangerous hitter like Martinez. So let's see what Buchholz decides to do here.
Two and 1 on Victor, who flied out to center field back in the second. There's a strike. 2-2. Buchholz had allowed coming into this start just 1 run or fewer in each of his last 4 starts against Detroit, and that includes the last start he made against him back at Fenway Park about a week and a half ago, in which he gave up no runs in 7 innings. And today he's given up a run on the home run by Dirks, and the Tigers trying to get a few more here. Two and 2. Outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Peralta will be next. Big crowd here this afternoon for game 1. Starting to get into it now.
I don't know what Jim will do here. 3-2. And with Buchholz on the mound and Cabrera at first base. Obviously, Cabrera's not a base stealer, but I don't know. May not be all bad to start the runner here. At least you stay out of the double play if the ball's hit on the ground. And again, you have to trust Victor's not going to strike out.
Let's see. There he goes. And it's fouled away.
That's the trust factor in your players. You put pressure on Martinez to put the ball in play because he knows beyond a shadow of a doubt if he strikes out, Cabrera is going to get thrown out.
Well, and if there's one guy in your lineup that I suppose you could trust in that situation, it's a guy that's a career 300 hitter. Martinez has battled Buchholz here, whose pitch total now has gone up to 67 for the game, and this will be the 25th pitch he has thrown in this half inning. Runner goes again, and it's grounded to first. Thought about it, but Gonzalez made the wise choice in grabbing the out at first base. 3 unassisted, advance the runner.
It's a good heads-up play by Gonzalez, and he had to think about it, split-second thinking. The reason why he didn't throw this ball, take a look right here. Freeze it right there. If he throws this ball to the shortstop, Lowry, he runs the risk of hitting Cabrera after he takes a couple more steps. So he wisely looked and thought about it, and then he gets back to get the out. It's just really good decision-making there by Gonzalez. He may have gotten Cabrera out, but he didn't want to run the risk with just a 2-run spread in this game.
So the Tigers have a man in scoring position for the first time today for Johnny Peralta. 2 gone here in the 4th. Breaking ball dips low, 1-0. Ground ball to short. Should get him out of the inning. Lowry's throw is in time to retire the side. Tigers get on the board, though, thanks to Andy Dirks. He smacks one over the right field wall to make it 3-1. Today, who is the last Tiger to lead the team in hits, runs, doubles, homers, RBIs, and walks? Late 80s. Did you get it? Did you get it? That would be Sweet Lou Whitaker back in 1989.
He could rake.
He could hit for power, too. For a guy as slender as he was.
That short porch in right field. Gates Brown made him a very, very good hitter. Gates Brown used to simply tell Lou Whitaker, sit and turn, son, sit and turn. And he didn't miss his fastballs either.
He turned out 28 homers. Fred Lynn was second that year for the Tigers with 11 home runs. So there's the answer to your AT&T trivia question. Adrian Gonzalez leads it off as we go to the top of the fifth. It is 3-1 Boston.
I wonder how Gates Brown's doing. I haven't seen him much around here at Comerica Park lately.
Gators usually hovering around, signing autographs.
Yep, up on the third floor.
Bouncing ball to second. Rayburn handles this one. And one pitch, one out.
Tigers left-handers in the 5-game series so far this year against Boston continues to do really good work against the left-handed hitters. Now the righties, they've hurt them. But the lefties, they've pretty much been able to slow the lefties down.
Kevin Youkilis, the batter, hit by a pitch his first time to the plate. He takes ball one. Only 4 hits allowed by the left-hander, Andy Oliver. Bouncing ball to short. Right at Johnny. 2 gone. By the way, don't forget about the spring ticket deal tomorrow against the Twins at 105. $15 mezzanine seats for just $10.
Wow.
That's it. 866-66-TIGER or tigers.com for the spring ticket deal. Two gone, and here is Jed Lowry. Lowry 1 out of 2, had a double but did not come around to score. Oliver could really use a fast inning here. He's thrown 90 pitches now. Many of those in that first inning, in which he threw 30 of them. But when you look up at the particulars, just 3 runs allowed on 4 hits. Here's the 1-0. 2-0 on Lowry. Check the count. 1 ball, 1 strike on Lowry. Beg your pardon. Here's the 1-1. Roll to third base. Going to be an easy inning for Oliver. 1, 2, 3 on 3 ground ball outs. You're watching Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit, presented by Bell Tire. To one of the more memorable moments in baseball history, Game 6 of the 1975 World Series against the Reds. Carlton Fisk winning the game with a 12th inning solo homer off Pat Darcy. And everybody remembers Mr. Fisk willing that ball into fair territory. Reds would end up winning that series in 7 games. One of the best moments in the history of Major League Baseball, and one of the more memorable ones, that's for sure.
Sparky Anderson was managing that big red machine in '75.
They were a machine. Don Kelly starting things off here. The bottom of the 5th. He drops down a bunt. Pretty good one, and it's going to go as a base hit.
One of the things that I comment on quite often when someone's attempting to bunt, in that the prerequisite is you have to stay in the batter's box and take your time and perfectly place the bunt and then run. Kelly could do it no better. Third baseman is back. That would be Sutton. And all he could do was eat it. Very nicely done.
So the Tigers trying to get something rolling here. They're down by a pair of runs. Here comes Ryan Rayburn.
I got word on Gates Brown. I heard that he had been hospitalized for a short time, but now he's back at home and he's doing okay. So Gates, if you're tuned in, get well, brother, so you can get back out here to the ballpark.
I'm sure he is. It's good news that he's back home.
Not like getting back home. My mother is back home now. She was hospitalized for about 4 months. I mean, from Christmas Day up until just a couple of days ago. But she's back home now. And, Mom, I know you're tuned in. Hope you're doing well. Can't wait to see you.
Waving a miss. What's your mom's name?
Nania.
Nania.
N-A-N-I-A.
Welcome back home. Well, I got stopped today by Rick Knapp, the pitching coach of the Tigers, who wanted me to pass along a get well wish as well to May Beck, who is a longtime Tigers fan. She's 83 years old. She's in St. Joe's Hospital right now, and May, get well soon. We appreciate your loyalty to the Tigers.
Yeah, we got to get May home now.
Yes, absolutely. 0-2 on Rayburn.
And we got to get Kelly home, too, from first base.
Might as well do it on just one swing of the bat here. Rayburn has 4 home runs. He struck out back in the third. Oh, 0-2 on Ryan. A little bit high and away, 1-2.
It looks like Buchholz is staying away from Rayburn. Rayburn has some power to the pull field, and Buchholz knows that. And therefore, not really going to make it easy on Ryan unless Ryan wants to take that base hit to right field, which is not all bad with 2 strikes. Hit it the other way.
One ball, 2 strikes on the newly anointed second baseman for the Tigers with the trade of Scott Sizemore to the Oakland Athletics.
That kind of surprised me that he would anoint him as the everyday second baseman. I thought Worth would get the majority of the reps since being called up. Did that surprise you at all?
A little bit. In some ways, I think they're trying to get Ryan going, though, because the second half taught us that when he is going well, he can be really good. But Danny Worth, terrific defender. And of course, there's Santiago in the mix as well, who I thought might see a little bit more playing time down there.
He's got some options.
Don Kelly has led things off here with a bunt single. There's Danny Worth up from AAA.
Buchholz has done a very nice job at making sure that up until this point, Kelly has not been able to get a good jump off of first base if stealing a base or running is on his mind. Therefore, he has kept his double play in order.
Did he go? They want the appeal. No, he did not.
All right, put your manager's cap on for a minute. We watched Cabrera when Victor was up last half inning. Tigers trailing by 2, 3-2 count. He started Cabrera. Does he dare start Kelly here?
No.
All right.
I say no because of the penchant for strikeouts right now for Rayburn.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Let's see what Jim's thinking.
And Buchholz back to first base. Three to 1 Red Sox lead. We're on the bottom of the 5th. 3-2. The runner's going. High fly ball left field. Hit pretty well, but it'll stay in the park. And Crawford hauls it in. Well, they sent him.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And just as I said when it was regards to Victor Martinez, Jim, you know what, Ryan? Put it in play. Put the ball in play.
First out of the inning. Here's Brandon Inge. Rayburn 0 for 2. Brandon struck out back in the 3rd. Buchholz has walked 1 and struck out 3 in this game. Lifted back out of play 0-1. Ainge now 1 for 8 in this series against the Red Sox. Boston's bats have slowed down a little bit in this game. Oliver gave up a run in each of the first 3 innings, but nothing since. The Red Sox have hit a couple of homers. The good thing for the Tigers, both of them solo shots.
Looked like it was going to be a track meet for Boston in the first inning. They stole 4 bases.
Which, if you're wondering, is nowhere near a major league record. The most stolen bases in a single inning is 8. That's the record. They got halfway there, though. How would you like to be the catcher that gave up 8 stolen bases in 1 inning?
I'd be thinking about a position change.
The 1-1 runner goes at a bouncing ball to short. Scooped up by Lowry, whose only play is to first. 2 gone. Kelly finds himself in scoring position now.
Appeared to be the hit and run.
Here's Jackson. He's 0 for 2. Raul Casanova once gave up 4 stolen bases in an inning for the Tigers. Last time that was done. But not 8. Jackson fly ball and a ground out. And Buchholz missing outside. 1-0 on Austin. Jackson earlier in the month had a 12-game hitting streak. And the 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball and a dandy. 1-1.
One and 0 breaking ball. Jackson dialed in for the fastball. Really nothing you could do but watch that pitch go by. Buchholz got a nice lather going out there today. A lot of humidity in the air.
Fly ball right field. Hit pretty good. Cameron going back to the wall to make the catch. Tigers are done here in the 5th as we go to the 6th. Still 3-1.
Oliver, he is making his 2011 debut, and he threw some really good fastballs in this game. He settled in. Fastball 93 to 95 miles an hour. When he throws it well, he locates it. However, when he's fallen behind, he's made some mistakes, one with the fastball, and also Cameron with a breaking ball, and Pedroia with a changeup. Back-to-back home runs. Those are failed tire pitch by pitch. Actually, not back-to-back, but both have hit solo shots today. Excuse me.
Back-to-back innings, I guess.
Yep.
You could say.
Back-to-back something.
Crawford, Sutton, and Cameron here in the 6th inning. Tigers down 3-1. Glad you're with us this afternoon. The first of 2 here at the ballpark. Later tonight, Verlander and Beckett. Tickets still available for that one if you're thinking about coming out.
That's a pretty good matchup. It's a really good matchup, as a matter of fact.
No TV for that one tonight, so come on out to the ballpark and watch a good one. In the air to shallow center, Jackson coming on. 1 out. Speaking of the nightcap tonight, here's the upcoming pitching matchup presented by the Michigan Office of Highway Safety. And here are the numbers on the 2 aces.
73 strikeouts for Verlander, 21 walks, and you can see Beckett is pitching some of his best baseball in a long time. 4-1 with an earned run average just a shade over 1.5.
Here's Drew Sutton. Sutton is 0 for 2.
If that earned run average by Beckett does not lead the American League, it's got to be close.
I would think. It's got to be leading. 1 ball, 1 strike. Oliver working quickly in the air. Right field. Kelly is coming on.
It does lead the American League in earned run average.
Well, we have a moment here. We go back to the studio. Time for a game break. Here's Ryan Field. All right, Ryan, thank you. Mike Cameron, the batter. The 100th pitch thrown by the left-hander, Andy Oliver. Cameron hit a solo shot his first time up. He walked his second time up.
You know, the Cleveland Indians are 19-6 at home. They're just a 500 team on the road, so maybe Tampa can slow them down while they're in St. Petersburg.
Would be nice.
Jose Bautista hit his 20th home run yesterday in a Blue Jays uniform in only 44 games. 44 games that he needed to get to 20 home runs.
20 before June 1st. Pretty impressive. Ground ball left side off the glove of Inge, or by it at least, into left field. What else is going on around Major League Baseball? Corey Patterson had a big day yesterday against the White Sox with 5 hits. How about Anthony Swarzak? Did you see that game last night against the Angels?
You know, I didn't watch much of that game. I really didn't.
Liriano was supposed to start. They scratched him, and then Swarzak gives him 7 1/3 hitless innings.
How about that?
And Joe Nathan back to the DL.
Corey Patterson, I saw his walk-off home run, though, against Gavin Floyd in the 14th inning.
Exit Sandman. That's pretty good. Adam Kennedy had the game winner off of Mariano Rivera. Ball high on Saltalamacchia. Saltalamacchia is 0 for 2 with a couple of fly balls. The 1-0. That'll get away from Martinez and move the runner up.
That should be a wild pitch. At 94 miles an hour, if you miss with your location this badly, there's nothing the catcher can do. 0.
Wild pitch. Or as they say in the press box in Chicago, wild pitch. Their official scorer has a high-pitched voice. 2-0 on Saltalamacchia. Time called now. Martinez will talk it over with Oliver. There's action in the Tigers' pen. The newcomers warming up, the left-hander. That's David Percy. The right-hander is Al Albuquerque. Saltalamacchia is hitless in this series, trying to pick up Cameron. He's at second base with 2 outs. Fly ball, shallow left. Dirk's coming in. They will get Saltalamacchia, and Boston is done here in the 6th. The bottom half of the inning coming up.
And now it's time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Andy Oliver making his first start in the major leagues in 2011. Made a couple of pitches that stayed up in the strike zone. One to Cameron, a breaking ball, and he played long ball, solo shot. And then Pedroia, he also played long ball and a changeup. Coors Light Freeze Cam is always brought to you by your Frost Brewed Coors Light.
So here come the Tigers now in the bottom of the 6th inning against Clay Buchholz. Andy Oliver and Rick Knapp chatting.
And more than likely he's done. I think his pitching count is right up around 110 or close to that. So he's probably thrown his last pitch today.
So if he is indeed done, I would guess that you'd have to look at the entire body of work here. And although he struggled sometimes early in the game with a lot of pitches, not all that bad.
Well, they got a stat for what he has done today. And they call it a quality start. 3 earned runs or less. 6 innings or more pitched.
Here's the 2-0. Dirk skies one. Shallow left center field. Lowry back. And look out. Crawford comes in to finally make the play among 3 defenders.
That's a play right there where Carl Crawford probably should have just called off Lowry, the shortstop, and taken it himself. And that way Lowry wouldn't have had to drift the way that he was drifting. You could see that he was struggling here, and he was looking for some help. When you've got speed like Ellsbury and Crawford in the outfield, really no need for a collision.
Albeit a minor one. Crawford held on to the baseball. Here's Bosch. Strikeout, fly out for Bosch. Ball 1. 2 balls and no strikes. "90 pitches for Clay Buchholz. And again, the only run he's given up, the home run to Dirks. In fact, Dirks has 2 of the 3 Tigers hits. Swing and a drive. Way back into right field. Forget about this thing. It is way gone. I take it back. He's given up another hit. And it's 3-2. That sounded wicked.
Brennan's parents are here. Phil and Vivian, you saw him point to them after the big fly. It's an 88-mile-per-hour pitch that kind of stays right around the belt buckle, but look at the swing here by Brennan Bond, who has not hit for a lot of power this year, but he absolutely drilled that one. It's funny, I was talking to Brennan a couple of days ago, and he was obviously concerned about the lack of power this year. And he told me that what he wanted to do was kind of get back to what he had been doing at the beginning of the year, and that's hitting balls the opposite way and letting the power come. And today, pretty good for Brennan. Must have been a changeup at 88, right?
Yeah, looked like it.
Or BP fastball, something. Buchholz knew it as soon as he threw it.
They came out to look at Buchholz, and it looks like he's wincing a little bit, grabbing his back. And I've been noticing that throughout the course of the game, he's been kind of twisting his body a little bit as if to stretch out that back. 394 feet on that home run by Bosch. All home runs today, solo shots, as Matt Albers starts to warm up. Here is Cabrera. He looks at strike 1. Dirks and Bosch with homers for the Tigers, Pedroia and Cameron for the Red Sox. Pulled to third base, into left field, right by Sutton. Cabrera takes the turn. He's going for 2. And he is in there with a double.
Mile-per-hour sinker down and in to Cabby. He pulls his hands in nicely. Look at where this ball is. You don't see the bat head until the last split second, and he gets the bat through the strike zone lightning quick. Sutton really had no chance of making that play, and it was only 1 foot away from him. That kind of gives you an idea of how hard it was hit down toward third base. Good hustle by Cabrera, too. If Crawford picks that ball up cleanly, we might have had a play at second.
So now the tying run in scoring position, only 1 out, and here comes Victor Martinez. He's 0 for 2. Well, the numbers jump up quite a bit once he gets to pitch 76 and beyond. He's in the 90s right now. Meanwhile, Andy Oliver is watching his team score some runs now, and they have a chance. Maybe get it tied or go ahead. Ground ball, first base side, deep behind the bag. Gonzalez will take it himself, advance the runner.
When the game ends, our coverage continues with Tigers Live as we bring you all the highlights, reaction, and analysis. Tigers Live from the Callsan Studios and here at the ballpark immediately after the game on Fox Sports Detroit.
So with 2 gone, that'll bring up Johnny Peralta.
Now here's an area where the Tigers must improve, and that's with a runner on third base and even 2 outs. But I'm thinking 1 out. I got ahead of myself. But that is an area where they have struggled this year with a runner on third, less than 2 outs. But there is 2 outs now, so disregard that.
Well, Johnny has a couple of ground balls, both to the shortstop. Ball 1. We do know that 2-out runs are golden.
I forgot about Dirks flying out on that little pop-up in the shallow left field.
Yeah, that was the first out of the inning. Then the Bosch homer. Then the Cabrera double. And Cabbie right now at third base.
Don't you hate when you do that?
Yeah, because I do it probably 4 or 5 times a game.
I hate that. Not paying attention.
Here's the 1-0. To center field. Ellsbury won't get there. Base hit. There's a 2-out knock. And we are tied at 3. Johnny Peralta comes through. 29th RBI.
He didn't hit it all that hard. He appeared to hit it right off the end of the bat. It's a fastball cutter away from him, and he got just enough of it. That Ellsbury in center field was fooled on the swing momentarily and couldn't run it down.
Here's Don Kelly. He lifts this one in the air to shallow right center. Ellsbury will come on for this one to end the inning. Not before the Tigers tie it up. Bosch got it rolling with a long home run. It's now a 3-3 game. From the Oakland Athletics for Scott Sizemore. And Percy, although he struggled with the Toronto Blue Jays at the start of this year, really kind of got it straightened around with the Oakland Athletics in 9 games, an ERA a little bit over 2. And so in our Wallside Windows pitching change, Mr. Percy will take over.
He's a former #1 draft choice of the Toronto Blue Jays. He's a hard thrower. His fastball will get anywhere from 93 to 95 miles an hour. Don't know a whole lot about his breaking balls as of yet, but we'll get a chance to watch Mr. David Percy in his new uniform.
Born in St. Charles, Illinois. Went to high school in Texas. And now pitching for the Tigers. Strike 1 on Jacoby Ellsbury.
Nice arm slot there with that 2-seam fastball. Kind of tailed down and into Ellsbury. Ellsbury didn't like the call, but Tim Timmons, his call is all that matters.
Waving a miss. So Oliver will get a no decision in his 6 innings of work here today. Tigers have come back to tied at 3. 0-2 on Jacoby Ellsbury. And it backed him out of there. See Buckholz between innings.
A little snappage.
Yep. Stand by. There it is. Apparently didn't appreciate the fact that he gave up 2 runs. And he missed it outside, 2-2.
Percy looks like he could be tough on left-handers if he locates his pitches. Got a firm fastball. 93 that last one, but away from Jacoby Ellsbury on the outside part of the plate.
Percy pitched his college ball at Oklahoma. First rounder in 2004. He's a big fella, 6'4", 240. Went 16th overall to the Jays back in 04.
234. And that's what left-handed batters are hitting off of him in his career.
High 3-2 on Ellsbury. Red Sox trying to get it started again here in the 7th. They've been pretty silent since getting 3 early runs. Pedroia waiting on deck. Swing and a miss. He got him to go fishing. Ellsbury is out of there. First strikeout for David Percy. 1 gone.
Really good breaking ball here. Really good pitch. You could see the arm slot that he throws from, and that's just a really tight slider. Located beautifully.
He has seen the Red Sox a little bit, having been with the Jays in the same division. Pretty good numbers.
Yep, really good numbers.
Here's Pedroia. Homered back in the 3rd, a solo shot. Three for 11 in the series now for Pedroia. He's hit 4 home runs. Also had a steal earlier in the game. Drives this one to center field. Jackson on the move. Nice play. Picked it off the turf.
He gets great breaks in the outfield. And I've said this on many occasions. You watch a lot of center fielders that would have to leave their feet on this ball, but Jackson doesn't have to leave his feet and picks it off the carpet nicely. Never, ever leaves his feet.
It was screaming for a dive.
Man, oh man, can he play some defense.
Two outs. Here is Adrian Gonzalez. 0 for 2 plus an RBI. Had a sac fly in the first inning. Strike called. 0-2. Percy replacing Oliver, who went 6 innings. 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 strikeouts. Andy threw 106 pitches today. Fouled away.
I know we've only seen 11 pitches here, partner, but Oakland must have a whole lot of pitching.
I was thinking the same thing.
They must have a whole lot of pitching to give up an arm like this.
And again, he was pitching his better baseball this year with Oakland as opposed to Toronto. There's the 0-2. Fouled away.
The Tigers actually tried to acquire David Percy from the Toronto Blue Jays before he was traded to Oakland, but they couldn't come together on a deal. But obviously that changed once he got out west, and David was able to pull the trigger for the Sizemore, our second baseman, sending him there and bringing Percy and putting him in a Tigers uniform.
Persistence has paid off for David Dombrowski. Now we'll get back out of play again.
Well, he's got to bury that breaking ball down and away against Gonzalez. Gonzalez is an outstanding hitter, and he hits left-handers well. Lots of home runs the opposite way, lots of base hits the opposite way. You have to make a quality pitch to this guy to get him out.
2 out, nobody on in the 7th. Tigers tied it up with a pair of runs in the bottom of the 6th. Bouncing ball slowly toward third. Inge cuts it off. Gonzalez is out. 1-2-3 inning for David Percy. Nicely done in his Tigers debut.
.32, Matt Albers.
Here's our Comerica game summary in a 3-3 game in the bottom of the seventh. Red Sox lefties today. Just 2 for 17 with a walk. Andy Dirks, Brennan Bosch have homered for the Tigers. Andy Oliver in his 2011 big league debut going 6 innings, allowing 3 runs. And acquitted himself quite well in this one. We have a new pitcher now for Boston. That would be Matt Albers.
Well, he's done pretty good work this year overall for the Boston Red Sox out of that bullpen for Terry Francona. He had one bad outing where he gave up quite a few earned runs, and that ballooned the ERA to close to 4.
Ryan Rayburn leads it off. He'll be followed by Brandon Inge and then Austin Jackson. Rayburn a strikeout and a flyout. Buchholz threw 98 pitches, 63 of which were strikes. Off the end of the bat, foul. 0-2 on Rayburn.
Rayburn going through one of those stretches, obviously not swinging the bat the way that he is capable of swinging the bat. And when you go through these types of stretches, it feels like every time you go to the plate, there's no balls and 2 strikes before you step up there. just the way it is.
Here's the 0-2. Rayburn said you really can't explain it when you're going good like he was in the second half last year. There's just a feel that you have, and that's what hitting is. It's just a feel, he says, and right now I just don't have that feel. Pretty simple. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Albers has a strikeout, one gone.
Follow the Tigers with MLB.com at Bat 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text at BAT to 31826 or visit Tigers.com.
Here's Brandon Inge. He's 0 for 2. Albers appeared in a career-high 62 games last year as a member of the Orioles bullpen. Broke in with the Houston Astros. He does have some starting appearances in his past, mostly with Houston. There's a strike. 1-2 on Brandon Inge. Jackson will be next. We're in the bottom of the 7th. The first of 2 here today. 7 o'clock game tonight features Verlander and Beckett. Tickets still available for that game. Two-2 pitch. Fouled off. Tigers then have the Minnesota Twins coming to town. The Twins, well, they've seen better days. Joaquin Benoit starting to warm up in the Detroit bullpen. All inside, and now it's 3-2 on Brandon. There's Jackson waiting on deck. Count. Whoa, that thing whistled right back into the Boston dugout with very little time to get out of the way. Terry Francona was on the steps. Now he has decided to move to his right.
He told Brandon Inge to pull the ball. I was talking to Terry a couple days ago, the first game of the homestand here, and Boston came in the hottest team in probably baseball the last 3 weeks or so, and Francona told me with a straight face, Rod, we're not clicking on all cylinders yet. That wasn't what I was expecting to hear.
And that was a 9-pitch at bat, and working a walk as Brandon Inge, so the go-ahead runner's on. Well, the first 2 games in the series, it looked like they were clicking on all cylinders, but Oliver slowed him down a little bit, so did Person. Now we'll see if they can steal one here late in the game. They were down 3-0 at one point. Jackson coming up there with only 1 out. Albers taking over for Buchholz here in the 7th. Strike one.
Albers has got that power sinker working at 93, 94 with some late life. You got to try to make him get it up. Keep the ball off the ground, especially in this situation.
Ground ball deep in the hole. Lowry has one play, and that's to get the out at second. Jackson aboard on the fielder's choice. And that'll bring up Andy Dirks with 2 outs. So here is Dirks, who hit a solo homer in the 4th, singled in the 1st inning. And for a while had the only 2 hits the Tigers could get against Buchholz.
Well, you would think that Jackson has to steal a base here. It's a tie score. There's 2 outs. And he's pretty much their only stolen base threat.
18% for Saltalamacchia.
You saw Saltalamacchia put his thumb out. That means he was telling Albers, the pitcher, to throw over. Would not be surprised to see a pitch out at some point in time by Francona.
Lifted back out of play. Albers came on here in the 7th. He struck out Rayburn. Inge walked. Jackson aboard in the fielder's choice. Tigers fell behind 3-0 in this game. They got a run in the 4th and then 2 in the 6th. They've hit a pair of home runs, Dirks and Bosch. Outside. 1-1.
There's that throwover sign again, given by Saltalamacchia. Apparently Jackson can't get a good jump off of Albers because he's still standing on first base. We gave you Saltalamacchia's numbers.
Austin has stolen 8 out of 10 this year. Good sized lead. And a ground ball foul. 2-2 now on Dirks. Runner goes. Bouncing ball left side. Sutton. Got him by a step. Dirks is out on the side, retired. No runs, a walk, one left. 7 in the books. Game 1, 3-3.
Sell the tickets to the games you can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Detroit Tigers. Go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today.
So we're still tied at 3 as we go to the 8th inning in this one, and now Joaquin Benoit will be taking over for the Tigers out of their bullpen.
Last couple of times the Joaquin has been out there for the Tigers, he appears to have figured out a few things. The numbers aren't really pretty overall, but once in an 8th inning situation, he got the job done, and he got a save too.
He's going to have to deal with Youkilis, Lowry, and Crawford here in the 8th inning for the Boston Red Sox. Three runs, 5 hits today for Boston here in Game 1. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Tigers. Tigers able to tie it up. 2 in the bottom of the 6th inning to tie it up for Detroit. Youkilis hit by a pitch. He stole a base. Did not score in the 1st inning. And yes, he was on the back end of a double steal. That was his first steal of the year. Two and 0. And now Benoit has gone to 3-0 on the leadoff man, Youkilis. David Percy pitching a 1-2-3 7th, and now he hands the baseball over to Joaquin Benoit here in the 8th. Here's the 3-0 pitch. 3-1 on Youkilis. Driven in the air to center field. Jackson is going back to make the play. 1 gone.
Talked about Benoit and the fact that he pitched Against his former club, the Tampa Bay Rays, he had a harmless 8th inning on one day, and then Valverde wasn't available the following day, and he went in the 9th inning and got a save. So sometimes it takes your former club to show up for you to kind of get things going in the right direction, and that appeared to be the remedy for Joaquin.
And so Benoit now trying to meander through this Boston lineup. Here's a fly ball. Shallow center field. Jackson coming on. It's going to drop in. Base hit off the bat of Jed Lowry. A little bloop single. Well, I've got some good news that apparently we will be telecasting tonight's game as well. We just learned that tonight's game 2 of the doubleheader featuring Verlander and Beckett will be televised right here on Fox Sports Detroit. Coverage beginning at 7 o'clock.
I did not know you had that much pull.
Well, you know, I made a few phone calls.
Who did you call?
Twisted some arms, so I can't. If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Oh, don't tell me then.
Here's Carl Crawford.
That's great news. That is tremendous news for Tigers fans.
Well, it would have been a shame not to see Verlander Beckett. And so Tigers fans, stick around. We'll have both for you tonight. Again, coverage begins at 7 for game 2. Crawford is 0 for 3. Benoit missing outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Here's the matchup. Verlander has already thrown a no-hitter this year and can be dominant on any given day. And Beckett, 1.69 earned run average, which leads the American League. So it should be fun to watch. Must-see TV. I believe we're the number 1 rated show here in Detroit anyway during the summertime.
Tiger baseball?
Tiger baseball.
No surprise there, is it?
Nope.
These fans love their Tigers. 1-2 on Carl Crawford, who did not care for that last call by home plate umpire Tim Timmons. Here's the 1-2. Down he goes. Joaquin has his first strikeout, 2 away. And now Crawford jawing with Timmons as he heads back to the bench.
Ooh, you can't locate a fastball any better than that.
Going to bring up Drew Sutton here with 2 outs. 3-3 game. We're in the 8th. Fouled back out of play. 0-1. Sutton is hitless in this game. Couple of fly balls and a ground out. And it's 0-2.
Nice changeup. Tremendous arm speed. Let's hope Benoit's figured out some things. Look at this pitch.
Tigers signed Benoit to be their 8th inning guy, leading it to Valverde. He's had his struggles this year. 1-2. Tigers have had a couple of guys that have had their struggles. Ryan Perry was sent down, trying to get himself straightened out at AAA Toledo. Ground ball to second base. Shoot in the inning. Rayburn throws him outside, retired. No runs and a hit, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. 3-3. Text Tigers followed by a space, then the player's uniform number to 37338, or you can vote online at foxsportsdetroit.com. Vote for your Tigers McDonald's player of the game. Well, a lot to be decided here in game one. Brendan Bosch will lead it off as we go to the bottom of the 8th, all tied at 3. Bosch took Buchholz deep back in the 6th. It was a solo shot to make it 3-2, and then later in the inning they got the RBI hit from Peralta. No balls, 2 strikes on Bosch. Cabrera, then Martinez to follow here in the bottom of the 8th. And if the Tigers can get a run across here, they've got their closer warming up, Jose Valverde. Here's the 0-2. Almost hit him. Bosch had to buckle out of the way. 1-2.
And Bosch appeared to get a BP fastball, 88 miles an hour, right down the middle from Buchholz his last time up, and he drilled it about 400 feet into the right field seats.
Ooh, that was close.
96.
The Bosch home run back in the 6th was his 4th of the season. That'll go foul. Bosch made a bid for an extra base hit the other way. Bosch's last home run was against these Boston Red Sox. Prior to the one he hit here today.
He hit that off Daniel Bard, the hard throwing right-hander in Terry Francona's bullpen.
Got him, strike 3 on the outer edge. Alvarez hits the corner, 1 gone. It's his 2nd strikeout.
Backdoor breaking ball. Bosch gave up on it, and the ball caught the outside corner.
Here's Miguel Cabrera. Double and a walk tonight for Cabrera. And he nubs one right in front of the plate. Alvarez will call for it. And 2 gone. So Alvarez came out of the 7th, gave up a walk, but no damage, and now he's got the first 2 men here in the 8th. And the Tigers will send Victor Martinez up there. Victor is 0 for 3 in this game. Ball 1. A couple of ground balls and a flyout for Martinez here in game 1. Buchholz started, gave way to Alvarez in the 7th, and Alvarez still out there here in the 8th. Fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Papa Grande in case he's needed. Checking things out from the bullpen out in left field. Ground ball to second. Fielded there by Pedroia, and it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Albers. So we go to the ninth. Still tied at 3. And Jose Valverde will be taking over in a 3-3 game. And on Tuesday, Valverde visited Fitzgerald Bethune's school, and he was there with a few members of the front office personnel for the Tigers there to promote the game of baseball, and more than anything else, encourage students to join a Detroit area summer baseball or softball program. It's an initiative the Detroit Tigers have, and Mr. Valverde making a visit.
That's nice of Valverde to do that, especially on a game day. Get out. A lot of Tigers do that kind of work in the community here in Detroit.
So J.D. Drew will lead it off to start things off here in the ninth.
A no save situation, so Jim Leland does as he always does, and that's bringing his closer for at least one inning, depending on how many pitches he throws. And to see if he can shut down this Boston Red Sox offense. Valverde's numbers real good. That earned run average jumped up after a couple of situations where a save wasn't on the line and he gave up quite a few runs.
J.D. Drew is pinch hitting for Mike Cameron here, and he's had a lot of success against Valverde. 6 for 10 with a homer. Saltalamacchia, then Ellsbury due up here in the ninth inning in a 3-3 game. Foul straight back.
First time we've seen J.D. Drew in this series. Did not play in the first couple of games. Reddick was playing right field.
Strike called on Drew. 2-2 on J.D. Cameron had a homer, a walk, and a single, and they pinch hit for him with Valverde coming in. And all the success that Drew has had. Outside. Run it full now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Drew is currently just 1 for 8 on their road trip. Trying to get something started here in the 9th. Sounded like he broke his bat in a shallow right, and Kelly comes on to make the catch. 1 out. Saltalamacchia has been called back. Meanwhile, another big gun coming off the bench. Big Papi has picked up a bat.
And Francona bringing up some guys that he feels like can give them the lead with 1 swing of the bat.
So David Ortiz to pinch hit for Saltalamacchia. Ortiz in the series 2 for 7. He's batting .303 this year. He's had a couple of walks. He's scored 3 runs in this 4-game set. He's only faced Valverde once, and the result was pretty good if you're David Ortiz. A home run. Don Kelly is playing in the right field bleachers.
No doubles depth is what Jim Leland is playing on the infield. He's got Cabrera hugging that line at first. Nothing will get past him to his left. They're not worried about Ortiz on the other side of the diamond, however.
Ball 1 to Ortiz.
And they also know that Ortiz is not up there trying to hit a single.
Had a big rip there. Swinging for the seats. 1-1 on David Ortiz. Ortiz had a season high 8-game hitting streak snapped with an 0 for 4 against the Tigers on Friday night. And the 1-1 fouled away. 1-2 on Big Papi. Got the day off today up until this point. Ortiz without question will be in there in game 2 against Verlander. Andy Oliver started for the Tigers in game 1. 6 pretty good innings. Down the left field line, slicing away though. Good crowd here for game 1. 36,285 the attendance for the opener in this doubleheader. Game 2 coming up, and again, don't forget you can see it now on Fox Sports Detroit. Originally we were not going to televise tonight's game, but we will be on the air at 7 o'clock with coverage of game 2. Low and away. 2-2 on Ortiz. Ellsbury waiting on deck. Red Sox have not scored a run since the home run by Pedroia way back in the 3rd. Percy had a scoreless inning. Benoit a scoreless inning. Missed it 3-2 on Ortiz. Drilled in the air, right center field, way back. Jackson looks up, and Big Papi has just untied this game. A line drive home run to right center field.
He is now 2 for 2 against Papa Grande, and both have left the building. That's exactly what he was called upon to do. And that was to hit the ball out of the ballpark. That's what Francona had in mind. And Ortiz made his manager look like a genius on a 95-mile-per-hour fastball.
Right down the middle of the plate, and Ortiz punished it. How about 412 feet worth? That's the estimated distance on that pinch hit home run by David Ortiz. And it's 4-3 Boston. 2 for 2 with 2 homers. Career now against Valverde.
Awfully gifted to sit for 9 innings.
Yeah.
Get called upon and go up there and hit a home run and hit it that far. Off a pretty good closer. Awfully gifted.
Ellsbury the batter. That'll go foul. 1-1. Meanwhile, Jonathan Papelbon now is up, quickly warming in the Boston pen. Peralta, Kelly, Rayburn due up when we get to the bottom of the 9th. Ball high. Tigers have Avila, Santiago, Wells, and Worth available on the bench. And a strike call. 2-2 now on Jacoby Ellsbury. He doubled, stole a base, scored back in the first. 4-3 Boston on the Ortiz pinch hit home run. Green 2. Two scoreless innings out of the Detroit bullpen until the 9th inning. The Ortiz home run giving Boston the 4-3 lead. Slap back out of play. 3-2 the count stays on Jacoby Ellsbury. Pedroia waiting on deck. And he got him. Strike 3. Ellsbury was headed to first base. Tim Timmons said, might as well make a right turn, go back to the bench.
It's the 3rd strikeout of the day for Ellsbury, 2 of which he watched the 3rd strike go by.
So now Pedroia with 2 outs. He's had 5 home runs in this game, all solo shots. 3 of them, though, have been off Boston bats. And a strike on the outer edge on Pedroia, who had a solo homer back in the third. He's also swiped a couple of bags. High, ball one. .22 pitches now for Valverde. 12 strikes, 10 balls. Here's the 1-1. And it's on the outer edge, a strike. 1-2 on Pedroia. Little talk back now to Tim Timmons.
Quite a few of the Boston Red Sox have had an issue with the strike zone today of Timmons. Not so much on the Tigers side.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fly ball right field. Kelly going back to the track. He'll make the catch right in front of the wall. Pedroia is out, so are the Red Sox, but Boston goes ahead. Now they pinch hit variety from David Ortiz. A long home run. The bottom of the ninth inning, and Jonathan Papelbon will take over and trying to close this one down for Boston.
He's been good this year. He comes in with an earned run average that's approaching 3, but they were kind of concerned about Papelbon coming into the 2011 season because by and large last year was his worst season as the Boston closer.
A couple of changes defensively as well. J.D. Drew stays in the game. He'll play right field. Jason Varitek is the new catcher. They pinch hit for Saltalamacchia. Johnny Peralta leads it off. Tigers down by a run. Game 1 in the doubleheader today. He swings on the first and fouls it away. 0-1. Johnny had the big 2-out single in the 6th inning that tied it up at 3 at that point. He's had a good series, 4 out of 8. Papelbon missing low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Papelbon is the all-time saves leader for the Boston Red Sox. He's got a slim one-run edge to work with in this one. And he missed 2-1.
Good fastball count here for Peralta. 2 balls, 1 strike. You know if you do get that fastball, it's going to be firm at about 95 miles an hour. So turn it up a notch and see if you can find a gap.
Rolled slowly towards short. Charging with the scoop is Lowry.
Didn't throw him a fastball. He threw him a breaking ball there at 81 miles an hour. Kind of tied up Peralta inside.
The first out of the inning. J.D. Drew on right field is pressed into duty out there. He's been nursing a bit of a sore hamstring, so I don't know if that'll be an issue for him. But he had to take over after pinch hitting for Mike Cameron. Here's Don Kelly. Kelly had a bunt single back in the 5th. And he takes strike 1. Up with the right hand goes Tim Timmons. Papelbon with 9 saves, among the top 10 of the American League. Cleveland's Chris Perez leads with 14. The 0-1. Make it 0-2.
That kind of coincides with all the victories that the Cleveland Indians have gotten this year for Perez.
Sure does. He's been really good at the back end of their pen. Oh, 0-2 on Don Kelly. Fouled away. Verlander and Beckett tonight in Game 2. And again, it'll be televised right here on Fox Sports Detroit.
And Cleveland was shut out this afternoon by the Tampa Bay Rays down in St. Petersburg. 7-0. Tigers are going to have to rally here today if they're going to pick up any ground.
Strike 3. Kelly tips it into the glove of Veritek. 2 gone. Papelbon has his first strikeout. So the Tigers' fortunes now resting with Ryan Rayburn. 0 for 3 today for Rayburn. Couple of strikeouts and a fly ball. And he fouls it back 0-1. David Ortiz, a pinch hit homer in the top of the 9th inning. That broke the 3-3 tie. Here's the 0-1. 0-2 on Ryan Rayburn. And now Papelbon 1 strike away from ending this game. Tigers a late rally, got 2 in the 6th inning to tie it up at 3 before the Ortiz homer in the 9th. And now Papelbon looking for the final strike. Swing and a miss. He struck him out in a 1-2-3 inning for Jonathan Papelbon. David Ortiz hits the game-winning home run, and the Red Sox win again. Final score in Game 1, 4-3 Boston. Back with more.